So the scenario is that I've grabbed my biggest cooking pot that I've got and a gas cooker, and I've set up here in the garage. It's quite windy outside at the moment, and I think that would reduce the effectiveness of the gas flame underneath this boiling pot. Also, it just allows me to control the environments and elements that much more when I'm inside. It is a very spacious 2-carport garage with a high ceiling. I have watched some videos of the dyeing process, and they do talk about it being a bit odorous, that might be hazardous to be taking in too much of those fumes in an enclosed space. So I'm verily imagining that this big open space will accommodate that requirement of not breathing in too much of the fumes. The actual dyes that I'm using, I couldn't find an olive green or a darker green. So what I've purchased are two colours. That is a brown and a Cali green, and the product the manufacturer there is this iDye Poly. And I'll put some notes in about all of the products that I'm using and the equipment that I'm also using, just so if you're looking to recreate this scenario, we'll have a bit of an idea about how I actually did it. I'm 100% not sure how it's going to turn out, so it's just really a trial and error. I don't know anyone previously that has done a light grey nylon fly or a orange fly, so this is going to be a first for me. It may turn out well, or it might be different to the outcome I was expecting. Both these products require the material that you're actually dyeing to be boiled away with the dyes for 30 minutes to an hour. I'm hoping to just do it for 30 minutes. Just not keen on sitting around for an hour for this one and then an hour for this one. And I'm thinking that there's a lot of dye capability within these two pouches. So hopefully I'll get enough of that transfer and richness and deepness of colour and set in that half an hour period. But again, it's a bit of a trial and error, so we'll see how that one goes. So the instructions on the iDye Poly is simply to fill the pot with enough warm water to allow the fabric to move freely when it is going through the dyeing process. Add the soluble package. So the product itself comes in a plastic bag that is of a substance that the plastic bag itself will dissolve into the mix. And then it also has a little pouch of colour intensifier. Once that goes in there, we give it a quick stir until it's dispersed, and then we add the fabric and bring to the boil and maintain the temperature for half an hour to an hour, stirring frequently. So the two products we have are the Cali green, pop that in, and the colour intensifier with that. It's a liquid that immediately makes the water go milky. Okay, we're coming up to the 30-minute mark and it's looking pretty good. What you'll see there is darker parts of the actual tent, and they did have maroon highlights, so I verily expect that those parts of it are the maroon highlights. Okay, that's the 40-minute mark. So I'll commit to finishing this process with this particular fly and transfer the fly over to this bucket of water. Right, let's see how we go. Here it is, the before. And before too long, probably another 40 minutes, you'll see the after. Come back to it every so often just to give it a turn and see how much of the colour it actually absorbs. So what we can see is definitely a green, and this was potentially the colour that I was aiming for. It's a little bit lighter than the army green, which is where I was sort of pitching it for with the olive green. We'll let it dry and see how much of a colour match to my expectations I've achieved. And so this is the orange tint. It's still a orangey looking colour, like it's later in the afternoon than when I filmed the light grey that had been dyed, but this is definitely still of an orangey tint. It's more of a brown, you know, gone from that fluoro orange to a more of an orangey brown. But I'll take this out and return to those areas that I had it set up when it was fluoro orange or bright orange against the green backdrops and the browny grey backdrops, and we'll see if this colour of an orange stands out as much as the previous colour did. We'll see how that one works out.